Hello guys, welcome back. In today's video, I will be showing you how to code a simple login and sign up page using ASP.NET for your projects. So let me outline you what I will be teaching you in this video. We will be using VB.NET framework as a front end, where we will create two forms, login and sign up. Form in the sense pages, web pages, one login web page and one for sign up web page. And we will be using SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server as a backend to store the sign up credentials. So how it works is, when a user signs up using his credentials, his sign up details will be stored in a table called as sign up details, which we will be creating in the database. When a user logs in, that is the user who has already registered on the website, when he logs in, we will be writing a code to check whether the login credentials will be matching with the sign up credentials on the table. Once it is matching or authentication is done, you will be redirecting the user to some other page. So this is what the outline of this video. So let me show you how it is done. Open Microsoft Visual Studio 2010. Now create a new website, file, new website. Give the name of your website here. Select the option Visual Basic and not Visual C#. And once the new website has been created, you will be seeing a default ASPX page. We don't want that, neither we have to delete it. We have to create a new one. Control N for the new file. Name the new web page. And this is the code of the web page. We need to design the web page, that is what the client sees. Go to design. So we wanted to design a login page here. So we need two text box. One is for username and the one is for password, and one button for login. To do that, go to toolbox. To display the label showing password, we need to add a label. Just double click on that. Right click on the label, go to properties, change the name of that label as login ID, and we need a text box to enter that login ID. Double click on the text box or drag and drop. Do the same for password. And now you have to enter a button, insert a button. As login. So this is how the user sees your page. Just click on run, debug it. It will run on your browser. And this is the front end design of our login page without any coding. There won't be any action as we didn't code anything. So let us design a sign up page and then get started with coding. So for a sign up page, again create a new file, Control N. Before creating a new file, you have to stop debugging. Rename the page, click on add. Go to design. Now design the sign up page as well. I'm also done with designing the sign up page. I'll show you how it is seen. And this is my sign up page, and this is my login page. So initially the user will be redirected to the sign up page. So whatever he enters here and clicks on the login, he will be redirected to the login window. So as I told you in the beginning of the video, in the outline, we have created two web pages, that is login and sign up. Now we have to connect that to a database in the backend. So what we have to do is create a database, a new database, and create a new table within that database as sign up details. So when a user signs up using his credentials, all the data which he entered will be stored in that table. And when the user is redirected to the login page and logs in, the user's data or the credentials in the login page will be re-verified of that in the sign up details table. Once the authentication is done, the user will be redirected to some other page which is mentioned in the code. So now let us get started with the backend coding. For that, I'll be using SQL Server Management Studio, Microsoft SQL Server 2008, where I'll be creating a database, new database. Give the server name as you wish and connect it, but don't forget the server name as you will be entering the same in VB.NET. So here, create a new database, right click and create a new database. I will create a database with a name users. Click on OK. Fine. I will rename it as student details, STUD, that's okay. Once the database have been created, you have to create a table inside that database to store the sign up credentials. Expand the database, go to tables, right click on that, new table. In the new table, you have to design the number of columns which you will be storing the data into. For example, in the sign up page, I have given only two data, that is user ID and the password. So I will be creating two columns, one is sign up, other one is password. So the first one is login ID, that is ID, and the data type, the ID can be the mixture of both characters and numbers. So I'll be giving the data type as varchar, and this should be primary key, that is only one customer, that is unique. Only one customer will have that particular ID, it cannot be duplicated. So the second one is password, which I'll be writing as PWD and the same character. Save it as details. And a table has been created with the name DET, that is details. So now go to your Visual Studio. We have done with login page creation, sign up page creation, and creating a table at the back end. So now we have to connect it. Connect the front end with the back end using a connection string. Let us start with coding our page which we have designed. So when the user clicks on login button, what should be done? What action should be done? That is called as event, and the action which has to be done is called as event handler. So double click on login page and write the code. I have copy pasted the code. You can find the code in the description link. So the very first line says the connection. The very first line is for giving connection between the front end and the back end. So here inside this inverted commas, we have to enter the the address of that database. So to know the address of database, we're gonna go to Server Explorer. If you can't find Server Explorer on your left, go to View menu. So here data connection, add a data connection. The server name which you entered while opening the SQL server, that is admin PC, which was default. Create the database, select the database which we created, that was STUD. test the connection. And done. We have connected the database with our front end. And now we have to copy paste the address of the backend inside those inverted commas. Again, go to Server Explorer, properties of the database which has been connected. There you will find a condition string. Copy paste the whole path, and the first line is done connecting the front end with the back end. And as we are inserting the data into our database, we are using insert query. So insert into table name. Table name was DET, and this is the column name. That's not necessary. Values text box 1, that is the values which have to be entered into this DET table. The values which have to be entered into that is text box 1 and text box 2. And now hover on the red color underline which are saying, select the drop down button and import system.data.sql client option. We are done with coding. Let us run the program. Let me enter an ID. And a password. Click on login. So when I click on login, the way we enter the code was the data, that is text box 2 data and text box 3 data, has to be saved in a database. Let us check whether it has been saved or not. Go to your SQL server. Right click on the table name, edit top 200 rows. Execute the SQL here. Yes, the ID and password has been saved inside the sign up details. So we are done with sign up code, and now we have to log in. As I told you in the outline, the login credentials have to be cross-checked with this table for the authentication. Let us write code for login page now. In the login page, do the same way. Login, double click on login and write the code to check. The same way, the very first line is always to create a connection between front end and the back end. So here I'll be using select query to select all the details which is present in the sign up database and check with the details which have been used in the login page. Select star from PH, that is we have used a table called as DET, where user ID, we didn't use user ID, instead we have used ID, which is the column name, is equal to text box 1. Text box 1 here is of login page text box 1. It is just cross checking the text box 1 as ID and password as text box 2. And this is a condition to test whether it is matching or not. If it is matching, get inside the loop, if loop, and write the code. So now I have to write the code so that if the authentication is successful, he has to be redirected to the home page. So now I have to create a new home page. For example, let me name it as home page itself. And this is my home page displaying a label welcome. on this login page, when I click on login, and if the credentials are authenticated, the user has to be redirected to the home page. So this is the condition. So here I'll be writing the code response dot redirect. And inside this, the path which has to be redirected to. And if the authentication is not successful, give an else loop with a message box displaying the error message. Let me run this. First, the user will be redirected to the sign up page, where I'll create a new sign up. When I log in, these data will be inserted into the database. So now let me go to sign up page, login page. And when I log in using the credentials which I gave to sign up, I'll be redirected to the new page. That is our home page which we created and redirected the user to. And this cannot be finalized. There are many loopholes in login and sign up page. That is, for example, if the user clicks on login without entering the data, your database will be filled with blank data. Or if the user enters only login ID and clicks login, he will be logged in, obviously, and that is major defects, and these things have to be validated. What I showed you here was a simple logic of how the code works. You have to enter all the validation, that is, for name it should be only characters and not the numbers. So henceforth there are many validations which have to be done, which I have included the source code for all the validations in the link of the description. Check that.